Hi, I'm CJ Altenberg with Transwest Truck Trailer RV in Frederick, Colorado. We got a really awesome Cimarron 10-pin Showstar sitting behind me here. This thing is completely loaded. So we actually were gonna take a 10-pin to National Western Stock Show and put it on display this year. And then our booth size to get the 5 trailers we wanted in there, it just didn't make sense. So we pushed this 10-pin back. We took an 8-pin, very much like this trailer, to the actual show. So this guy is completely loaded up. Unfortunately, this one is already sold. So what typically happens is we'll have a lot of these really cool trailers on order. Somebody will call up and say, hey, I'm looking for something like this. We've got it on order. This one was still at a point where the customer could make some kind of personalized changes to it, but pretty much like the way the trailer was set up. So we're gonna walk you through this one. Before we do, let's take a look at the drawing. That way we can show you how the actual trailer is laid out. Again, this is an LX model, so you're gonna get your standard 8-foot wide, 6'4" tall. This one here is gonna be 28 foot on the floor, so we're just shy of an 8-foot front tack. This one's got a big oversized front tack room on it, and then a 10-pin setup behind it. Now, this is an air ride trailer as well, so we'll talk a lot about that air ride as we're working through the video itself. But this thing's got a ton of standard options with it being an LX, but then a ton of extras on top of that. So let's just dive into it here. If we look at the nose on this trailer, bear with my cough today, it's just that time of the year. So if we look at the front end of this trailer here, you're gonna notice the 3 marker lights at the top. That became standard on the 24 models. We were doing that to a lot of our trailers, a lot of these nice big custom trailers, living quarters, trainer trailers, these loaded up show cattle trailers, or show livestock trailers like this one we're looking at. They made that standard. You're gonna have the polished stainless nose on it, the wraparound nose style. You'll see that the profile when we get to the side of it, but it's fully polished. This one's got a rated for a 25,000 pound B&W coupler. This is the 3rd generation of this. A lower profile handle, just kind of naturally happened. Cimarron was visiting B&W's plant, looking at some of their welding equipment, got talking, hey, the vendor that we used to get our couplers from has been having a hard time because of transition. Another company bought them. B&W said, well, help us design one and we'll make one for you. So they did. This is the 3rd generation. The reason why I really like this one is the lower profile handle. We get this lower actual hole drilled into it, so if we need to get it up a little bit higher, not so much in these trailers, but our big living quarters, our big trainer trailers, big show cattle trailers, maybe they're pulling it with a hauler where they want to get this slid up. It's nice to have lower profile handle, and then backed by another US built product here in the States. Underneath the gooseneck, that's a really cool feature there, this roll-up door. So we've actually extended this nose to accommodate for this, so we still can, with a long box truck, be able to drop that tailgate, still walk back here. But this roll-up door, in my opinion, I think it has a couple features to it. Is one, I think it's a clean look to the trailer, but then also it protects everything we have back here from just road grime, debris, just weather in general. So first thing we're gonna get is the equalizer jack. That is the electric over hydraulic version, so it has a manual override. That's the system that Cimarron uses. Boy, it's sure nice to be able to reach up and push a button and up and down this goes. If you're pulling with maybe some younger juniors, you know, as you're backing up underneath the truck, they can literally be guiding you back, and once you get to that spot, they can reach up and hit the button, so your foot doesn't have to come off the brake where that truck wants to rock when you put it in a park. It's definitely nice, especially if this is loaded with equipment. Push that button and up and down it goes. We did the expanded metal floor on the bottom, so you do have some space, and there is a lot of space. You can throw some tools in here, maybe to potentially have to change a flat tire, just traveling with items. It's nice to be able to have some space. Shoot, you can even throw some luggage down in that other side as you're traveling. There's a lot of room here. Over here to the right, we've got generator brackets. We've actually elevated these a little bit and extended this nose, so if you're running a larger generator, we actually run this nose a little bit longer and then have this enclosure a little bit deeper, because some customers will want to maybe run like a 7,000 generator versus your 3s and 4s are a little bit smaller. Don't necessarily have to worry about that, but we're trying to accommodate those type of items for you down the road. But you can set your portable generator there. There's actually an outlet right here. I'll show you where that breaker box is when we get into the actual front tack room, but that's where that's going to plug in right there. Aluminum battery box. We have a single 12 volt, but as you can see, there is room for more in there if you'd like. Battery disconnect. So the battery box, the disconnect all come standard with our equalizer jack setup as far as standard equipment. The disconnect is something we always used to add to ours, but Cimarron went ahead and made it a standard feature. On the left side of that jack, the spare tire is elevated just so we have some floor space to store some items. And then over to the left, there's actually going to be our air ride controls. So that's our air ride control system itself. It's all self-contained. It's real simple to use. It's on, off, lower and raise, and then you clear the line. Now we've done some how-to videos on how to properly operate it and then how to shut it down that we can send you. It's a really condensed version, so just a couple minutes on each of those. But again, let's talk air ride a little bit more as we get into this video. Now, again, the roll-up door, it was very nice to be able to, we're gonna have to make a tweak to it, looks like. When we do bring these trailers in, before we actually deliver them to the customer, we run them through the shop on a PDI. So this one hadn't been PDI'd yet. So we'll go in, we'll make our adjustments. We'll also put this on the alignment machine with it being air ride and a little bit larger. Just like anything, we want to make sure everything's operating correctly for you. Underneath the nose is going to be a 16-inch awning light. So our light for our cab is going to be a long ways away. It's going to be blocked by the front of the actual trailer nose itself. So it's nice to be able to turn this guy on, have light coverage right here, whether we're trying to get some items out, running that generator, those type of items. You'll never regret having a lot of lights on these trailers. That's one thing that a lot of our customers that we've loaded up lights, we go, boy, that seems a little excessive. And after using it, we say, what do you think? They go, no regrets at all. We will have some customers say, boy, I wish I would have put more lights. Load lights, marker lights, interior lights, those type of things. So speaking of lights, this guy here, if you look at that top rail, it's got a bunch of them. We loaded this guy up. Those are about every 3.5 feet apart. So at nighttime, this guy will get, lit up and look really cool. Here's that wraparound nose I was showing you. Again, from the side profile, you can really see it. It's a sleek look to this trailer, again, with the enclosed front end. And then on this one here, charcoal metallic sheeting. It looks, in direct sunlight and really clear days, it looks kind of more of like that dark gray, that dark actual charcoal. If you get it in the shade or cloudy days, it'll darken it up a little bit, but I love the look of this color. I think it really, doesn't show just dirt as much as the black trailers do. I think it also works with a lot of the color packages in today's, truck manufacturers, but a cool look to that one there. All right, let's jump into this tack room. So we have a fold-up step, definitely nice when we have juniors going in and out of these tack rooms. No step makes a big difference from the ground to that bottom door frame there, so it's definitely nice to have that guy. But then as we come into this tack room, we got a lot going on. And this trailer, these bigger tack rooms have become more and more popular. We just want to be able to carry a lot more stuff in them, and this guy definitely does. So we'll just kind of start over here to the right. As we come in the door, we're going to have a shelf with a clothes rod. It's 18 inches deep. It's got a 2-inch lip, so it'll hold items. This is great. You can hang clothes in here rather than the back of the truck. Send kids in here if you're showing off this trailer. Hey, go put on your show shirt. It's right here, out of the way. Up to the right is going to be a storage tray. That's going to be for our plexiglass. I'll show you where that plexiglass is when we get in the stall area. But then as you can see, a couple LED lights. Typically, a standard front tack room will have a light over the door. This guy here has 4 of these big Optibrights. So we did one on each side of the gooseneck because it's a longer gooseneck. There's a ton of storage up there, by the way, that you're going to have. Carpet on the deck, carpet on the drop wall. Over here to the left is going to be that 30 amp breaker box I was telling you about. You got some plugs in here so you can charge up a phone if you want. Those type of items are definitely nice to have, and that's what you're going to get, that power package. But there's more to that again when we get to the stall area. I'll show you that. On this wall over here, driver's side, another OptiBrite light. Carpet on this partition wall. You're going to notice 2 rows of this airliner track. What you can do is you can get all kinds of just different attachments to this, whether it's hooks. Cimarron makes a additive bucket holder that you can hold a couple buckets that actually attach and fold down. But if you want to bring items in here and strap them down, hang feeders, whatever you want, you can go on to Amazon and buy that. That's what's the beauty about this airliner track. Now I can move those items wherever I want and attach them. And then it's, again, behind me on this partition wall as well, carpet, just to protect everything. And then these big utility hooks. So these aren't your standard bridle hooks that, you know, horse trailer manufacturers on these type of trailers will roll over. These are built specifically for these livestock trailers. So if you notice, big gap, a lot of depth off the wall, and they've got some height to them as well. Bigger cords, bigger hoses, really work well on these guys here. These are aluminum powder coated, so they are really stout, but it's definitely nice to be able to have this storage. You have a pass-through door that goes into the stall area. So if we're mixing up feed in here, need to hop into the stall area, we can do that. Or, you know, as the kids are working in and out, or if you're just trying to get ready to go to the show ring, it's nice to have there. On the floor is going to be this gray rubber flooring. We're doing more and more of this. This stuff is awesome. It's got a lot of grip to it. You can still kind of slide some items, but it's definitely nice to be able to have some grip when you come in here. The nice thing is it's sealed on all the edges. So versus rubber mats on the floor where dirt can still get to those kind of creases or gaps between them and work underneath there, that's not the case here. Again, we're doing so much of this stuff. This stuff holds up extremely well. You don't realize it until you're out and about in the world after you start putting them in trailers, but you start noticing them in places. So a few months back, we took our kids to an amusement park of all things. So real high traffic. We would notice these on stairs. We'd notice these in weight lines. I mean, in elevator floors. I mean, this stuff holds up extremely well. So it's definitely nice, and we're starting to incorporate it in quite a few areas of our trailers as far as tack rooms. You have an 18-inch boot box, so it's partial. So it's kind of favored more towards passenger side, but if you have larger buckets, they fit in here. But if you need to throw some smaller items, don't have to worry about them, you know, moving around, or just have a place for them to stay. That's a nice box to have there. Also a nice little bench if you just need to sit down and hang out. Or if you're actually hopping into the gooseneck area, you have that step. You've got this 4-inch tube that goes across that'll hold items up there in that nose. If you want it out of here, you just unpin it and take it out. But it is nice if things try to shift. With this being a front tack room, Cimarron's gone in and did a pre-frame for an air conditioner or a camper style vent, 12-volt vent. All those have about the same footprint. So this piece of it's already done. So it saves a lot of time and hassle. If we are going to add those type of items to these, it can be done. Now, it's set up with a 30 amp package. So if we wanted to run, I'll show you, we have an air conditioner in the stall area, but if we wanted to put another one here, with it being only a setup for one 30 amp package, a second one would have to be added, or you're only going to be able to run one of these ACs at a time just based on how the power package is set up. But we can work you through some of those scenarios there. Last thing, one more OptiBrite light. So again, we put 2 in the nose, 1 above the door, that's standard, and then 1 across from it. So ton of light coverage in here, and a head pad. The head pads have become extremely popular, and everybody sees them at shows and go, dang, how do I get those? I've whacked my head enough. I'm tired of it. How do I get those? We've put the head pads on these door openings all the way around the trailer. And then the last piece is you're going to have a combo lock. So it's that combo deadbolt. So as long as I don't lock the actual door latch itself, I can just send somebody to the trailer. Here's the code, punch it in. Don't have to find the keys. But that's nice to be able to just have that guy and just lock it. 16-inch awning light above the actual tack door there. So you have light coverage there, and then your fold-up step on a gas shock as well. That's a good look, I mean, of what that color looks like, that charcoal metallic. That is a sharp-looking trailer in my opinion. And when we get this guy buttoned up at the end here as we walk through it, you'll definitely agree with me there. I'm fairly confident. With the LX, you're gonna have the side ramp going into the stall area. So that's standard. What's awesome is you can work off the side of this trailer, excuse me, or the back, either way. You see the gates over the door openings. You can actually see through that trailer there to the escape door, and then there's a gate across it as well. But it's nice to be able to open this guy up, get a lot of airflow if you are showing off this trailer, and have that, you know, your animals actually secure in there when you're opening all these up. Now, as we start working back, got a couple things. With the LX, you're gonna get your standard drop windows, and then you're gonna get a lower air gap that's on a gas shock. So, these kind of cooler days where we're starting to get warmer later in the day, you leave in the morning, it's cool, you wanna be able to have those shut up. Well now, when we go to open them up, want more airflow as it starts to warm up, you literally just walk by and flip them down. Now there is plexiglass on the inside here, but that's kind of for more of like your winter months, just to kind of give it a little bit more seal. You'll get a better look at that when we get on the inside of the trailer. But these type of months, as again, it's cool in the morning, warming up, where we're wanting that airflow, you just take this plexiglass out. They're gonna put it up in that storage tray I showed you in the front tack room. You're gonna take out passenger side, tape them together, right on it passenger side, do the same thing for driver. It just saves a lot of hassle on where all those pieces go. You know exactly where they're gonna go. But that'll seal it up a little bit more, but it's nice to be able to drop that guy. Very simple, I don't have to worry about it as long as the plexiglass is out. Larger air gap as well. So you're gonna get a lot more airflow down low, you know, to your hogs, to your lambs, to your goats. Or down low, get that airflow down there to them. Amber turn signal. We put these on a lot of these 8 wide trailers. It's just nice. This is a little bit longer trailer, like I mentioned, 28 foot on the floor. So not massive by any means, but boy, when you put your blinker on, you hit your brakes, it'll indicate, and then it works as just a larger marker light for you as well. So that's definitely a nice feature there. But with the drops, you know, you get a lot of airflow in those areas as well. So, 2 7,000-pound axles under this guy, air ride suspension, electric brakes, 16-inch aluminum wheels, the black with silver. It really ties in well with the extrusion and then the color of this trailer itself. And then upgraded to a 14-ply tire, so a heavier duty tire. But this air ride makes a massive difference when we're actually pulling these trailers, just in how they tow, but more importantly for what it does for the animals. So the animals, you know, it doesn't matter what species it is. Anytime we sell one of these trailers to a customer, we run into them at a show, we talk to them after the fact, and they go, man, I will never own another trailer without air ride. It makes a massive difference. We spend so much time and money on these animals. You know, a lot of miles we're traveling. Let's give them the best opportunity to go compete at the highest level. And believe me, it does do that. Stories we've heard, we have countless, but Dexter did some testing. So behind your axles is the worst part of a ride on a trailer. It's like a school bus. That's the best analogy I can give to you. It was fun. We always wanted to ride at the back of the school bus when we were younger, because if you go over tracks, you go over bumps, man, it launches you in those back seats. Well, that's what trailers do, and that's what it does behind the actual axles itself. Air ride took away 52% of the road shock behind the axles just by having air ride. We've heard stories of the Sullivan Show supply trailers coming from Dunlap out here to a show, and somebody left a half a cup of coffee in a mug on the counter, and they show up here and it's half a cup of coffee still on the counter. Customers will just rave about how well the animals step off the trailer, how fresh they are. You can cut off some recovery time on the front end of a trip on really long distances because of how well the animals ride. Well, that's less time of you away from home, away from work, time on the roads, you know, another hotel room, meals on the road, that type of a scenario. So over time, as you're using this trailer, you will more than pay for that air ride. And again, you will be very happy with the results on how your animals step off. If something happens to that compressor, a line, a bag, and sets down on rubber torsion axles with a shock kit, and you can still move the trailer. The old air rides, you couldn't move the trailers. So this one here, a lot better setup. That's one thing that I normally hear from customers is, that air ride, I'll never own one. And once we start talking to them, they've had a bad experience with one of those older air ride systems. That's not the case on this one here. Very, very user friendly. Wraparound style doors. You're gonna notice these back doors are wrapped to the side of the trailer. That's now standard. That was a option we put on quite a few of our trailers. Just going out to some shows here locally with the Colorado Junior Swine Association, I just started observing how many trailers, you know, we used to have the doors where they'd wing off on a 90-degree angle with those welded hinges, and everybody was having to open and close those doors constantly as they were all parked really close together. So we went the wraparound to get them on around the side of the trailer, and boy, did customers are very, very happy with that setup now. So we have dual 50/50 doors, 50/50 rear ramps. What's nice about the 50/50 rear ramps is, again, if you're traveling with younger juniors, they're a lot easier to handle. Granted, it's an 8-foot wide trailer, so an 8-foot wide ramp. Even though they use big springs, it does help open and close those, but by splitting it, it definitely does help with those younger juniors if they are having to open these guys. Two 16-inch awning lights at the back, shooting down and out. So again, more light coverage for you. But then we roll into this pin setup. The rear gates are hinged off the side of the trailer. It just, over the years, has kind of progressed to that way. The flow off the trailer and on the trailer is just so much better by having them hinged off the side rather than the center post. And then as we come in, again, this is an adjustable setup. So we can go 60/40 to 50/50. The back two pins right now are set at 50/50. And then up here, the first three sets, so these first 6 pins, right now we have set at 60/40. So you can create an alleyway, you can adjust these. Again, the gates on the right side are hinged off the actual side of the trailer rather than the center post. Again, that's just feedback and how these flow when you're loading and unloading animals out of here. It just makes it so much easier by having them hinged over to the side. You've got the ability to actually pin them back if you'd like. And these guys here, I give Cimarron a lot of credit. Everything needs to be one-handed operation. We're always carrying stuff. You know, we're leading cattle, we're leading horses on and off these trailers. So one-handed operation is important. So all I have to do is just break the center gate loose, pull it towards me, slide it forward, lock it into place. 50/50, 60/40, very smooth operation, very easy to use. There's no unpinning gates, removing them, moving them to another post, repinning, nothing like that. Again, you saw how smooth and easy that was. So you can easily flip these guys so quick to whatever setup. If you need to take sections out, you can. You can take out the center post. They're on pins as well. And then they're actually stamped as well now with what order they go in. I tell customers, hey, you know, write, you know, post 1, 2, 3, 4 with a Sharpie somewhere on it. So you knew how they'd go back in, but not in this instance here. Now they've got them stamped. So, all right, we got a lot going on in here. We'll kind of start over here on passenger side. We put a feeder holder up here on the right-hand side. So if you unclip some feeders, you can turn right around and clip them up there. Or if you're prepping feed, you can set it, do what you need to, move everyone around, and then grab it. So we've been doing that on quite a bit of trailers. LED lights, again, they're on top rails on both sides, but more of those OptiBright lights. You're also gonna notice outlets. So we have 3 outlets on passenger side up there in that top rail. You know, space throughout this load space area. And then up at the front, by that side ramp, we actually did some switches. So those switches will operate lights in here, and then the one over there on passenger side. So if you walk into this, you can actually turn those on. You don't necessarily have to go to the back of the trailer where the other switches are, but that is where they're located. So you can actually work off of either one. And then there's another head pad for you. Two-way roof vents. So we have those going on, so we can manipulate airflow throughout here. We can create a lot of airflow through this trailer with our drop windows, our two-way roof vents, our lower air gap as well. There's that air conditioner I was telling you about. So this guy's already set up with one here in the load space area. This whole load space area is fully insulated. So it's insulated up around the walls, and then as we get down below that air gap, it's line and insulated there. You're also going to get a standard insulated roof. This comes on every single Cimarron, doesn't matter what model it is. So it is a 1/2 inch thick, it's reinforced, it's a honeycomb design, so it's really strong. It'll take substantial hail. More importantly is it keeps this stall area 20% cooler than aluminum sheeted roof. This is a low profile trailer. Okay, heat rises, so now it's pushed down, but by having that roof, I'm telling you what, you come out here or see us at a show, we're normally out on asphalt, and those real hot summer days will take you to one manufacturer with aluminum roof, take you to a Cimarron, you'll physically tell a difference, and it's because of that roof. That stuff is awesome. That is a definite upgrade that's already standard on a Cimarron, where a lot of other manufacturers will have to go in and actually charge you for that upgrade there. And you have the potential of hail damage still with the aluminum on the top side of it. Now, we flip over kind of more on driver's side. Same thing, LED lights, there's 3 of them over here, because you have 2 on the other side because of the side ramp, and then again you have outlets in the top rail. And then you'll notice on these roof bows over here, we have more of that airliner track. So you can get some attachments here, you know, like a 12-inch barn fan works best. 24s are too big, they hang down too far, but a 12-inch fan, you can hang that guy in here. There's some little portable heaters that I've seen some guys run around with. Excuse me, that'll attach up there. But you have that flexibility on all these roof bows to move those items wherever you want. So definitely a nice feature there. Again, here's a good look at that line and insulate package. And then on this one here, we took some pieces from the horse trailer world and brought them over here. It's this lower kick mat. So normally it'd be this white sheeting down low that eventually maybe some hogs will rub against and kind of get that paint knocked off. But this is rubber like kick mat that we use on the horse trailers. Well, we did it here, and then we did it on the actual wheel well as well. Because wheel well is aluminum, they can rub on it. White hog will get a black mark on it. Same with the lamb, same with the goat. But in this instance here, we wrapped it with that rubber. We tapered on the front end of them, just the way the pin's set up. This back one here, this gate goes right across, so we didn't taper here, just because it gives us a little bit more room in that pin, and it doesn't actually work in there. To where in this pin up here, the wheel well works into the actual pin itself. So we tapered the front end of it, and then we, you know, obviously we taper up. We don't like real 90-degree angles, sharp angles, anything like that. And then here's that plexiglass I was telling you about. There's a track on the inside. I like taking my pocket knife and sliding between them and just getting a little bit of it pushed off, and then I can slide these guys out. But then again, we can store those in there. So again, winter months, when we want to seal that opening up a little bit more, it's nice to have the plexi. Get into the warmer months, yank that out. Then you can utilize that those fold up aluminum slats on the side there. We didn't even talk about these pins in here. Powder coated pins in here, so same thing. White hogs, white lambs, white goats. Nobody rubs against them. It's gonna get that nasty oil or aluminum kind of just junk on the side of them, that mark. They picked the color on this guy. I thought it turned out awesome. I love the look of it, but we tried to match as best we could the charcoal metallic on the outside of the trailer. So I thought it turned out awesome. You're gonna have feeder rods in here as well, high and low, so as the animals get a little bit bigger, if you need to elevate a feeder, you can, or drop it if you have a little bit younger projects in here. And then it doesn't necessarily, it's not as necessary on these type of trailers with smaller livestock. I mean, we don't have the weight that we're gonna see with cattle and horses. But regardless, Cimarron builds all their trailers the exact same. Same with the roof, same with the floor. 4-inch center, it's the best floor on the market. So for instance, we always say on our horse trailers and our cattle trailers, wherever we have something standing on this floor, they're standing on a support beam. That's how well built these Cimarron floors are. So those are those I-beams that run across the full length. So again, your animals are riding on the best floor on the market. Top it off with Werm flooring. So in these pin trailers, you either go with Werm flooring, in my opinion, or you don't, and you just bed really deep. So no rubber mats, anything like that. Because you have to think, we have to notch all those rubber mats around all these posts. Hogs will get in underneath them, root them up. This Werm flooring is permanent, it's unpenetrable, so it's gonna protect that floor underneath. Great cushion, great grip, and guess what? You just created some insulation on the bottom side for our animals as well. So we have sidewalls, we have roof, and now floor that's got some insulation. So if you are traveling in those real hot months, real cold months, we're definitely trying to keep these animals as comfortable as possible. And I think you can do that very easily in this setup here. So a lot going on in this stall area. I hope I didn't miss anything for you. But just an awesome setup. Those powder coated pins turned out so cool. Again, just a good look to this trailer here. One of the last things on this one here is going to be backup lights. We've been doing that quite a bit. I have heard there's a rumor they might be coming standard on 25 models just because of how many we've been putting backup lights on trailers. Look, it only makes sense. Can't have enough lights. Our truck is a long ways away from here. So when we put it in reverse, our backup lights are almost useless up there. It's nice to have these guys. You get in unfamiliar places, you get home late at night, you want to throw it in reverse, see where you're going, those guys will engage when you put it in reverse. So just a small little feature when we're building these trailers that makes a world of difference. And again, you can never have enough light on these guys. So I'm gonna get this wraparound door out of the way, just so I told you when we got over here to driver's side, I'll kind of get everything shut up so you can see just how this trailer looks. What's nice is these are independent doors too, so you can open and close them in either way you want. And then again, you saw how easy that guy was to lift up with it being the split 50-50. So same thing, you've got your drop windows. Everything's key to like too, so your tack door, your ramp door, your rear doors, escape door, all these drop windows have one key, so we can just lock everything up if we want. And again, these guys are so simple to just flip up, get out of the way. And then there's that polished extrusion. Such a good look to that. You don't acid wash these trailers, you'll burn that polish, so they'll have to be repolished. It gets kind of a smoky, kind of burnt look to them. You want to citrus wash them. Citrus isn't as harsh. Typically, if you go somewhere like a Blue Beacon or truck washes, they're going to know what to use and what not to use. But citrus wash is what you'll want. It's a nice brightener. Not as harsh on that aluminum. There's that escape door. It's got a bus window in it. You can lock these guys up. Fold up step on that as well. Another access. And then there's a good look. We'll just step back with that polish. Your top rail, your bottom rail, your extrusions, and then that charcoal metallic. That is a sharp looking trailer for sure. So I'm gonna give you the stock number on this guy. Again, unfortunately it's sold. We do have a couple other 10 pins here. We've got more on order. We can build you something. It is a 2024 Cimarron Showstar LX Air Ride 10 pin. Stock number is 5N231639. That way, if you're like, man, that is the exact trailer I want, it's real easy to call up and say, here's the stock number. I saw the video. I want that trailer just like that. Or I want that, but I want to make this, you know, a couple little tweaks so you can build it exactly how you want it. So we do take trade-ins. So whether you're looking to upgrade, downsize, we can help you out. Financing is available and delivery is an option. We can potentially bring this to your door. So give us a call. Anybody on the sales team can help you out. That number is 303-684-3400. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good day.